One of the biggest problems that we have as a collective is that we lack intellectual honesty. You want to know why there's wars? You want to know why we're judging one another, hating one another, blaming one another? We lack intellectual honesty. I grew up suffering because I didn't understand that other people lacked intellectual honesty. I was so honest with myself that in my relationship with other people, I was able to see the truth. If I wronged someone, I'm like, yeah, I can see. Like, sometimes I'll be in a situation where someone treated me badly and everyone saw it. And they're like, this person is evil. And I'm like, I know exactly why they treated me badly. I know exactly what I did. It's like if there's this kid that's getting bullied by everyone. This kid is getting bullied every day. And then one day, this other kid decides to bully that kid, and then that kid stood up and held something and hit that kid. If we lack intellectual honesty, we're going to look at that kid as someone evil, you see? But no, that kid had, that kid went through a lot and they couldn't handle their emotions anymore because of what they have been through, right? Society is not capable of saying that. That's why I keep on telling people that the school people who shoot up schools, I will never ever condone. Like, if you feel like doing something bad to someone who has wronged you, don't do it. It doesn't. There's nothing to gain. There's a lot that you can learn from your experiences, from being betrayed. You can learn and protect yourself better. You can learn from getting bullied. You can learn to stand up for yourself. So you deciding to go down with everyone, that might not be the best idea. But if we are honest with ourselves, we will understand that if some of these kids who end up shooting up schools never got bullied, they were treated right, like, that wouldn't happen. Like, we've seen it happen. We, like, as humans, I don't know why we're like this. It's like it's in our nature to bully. Like, we bully in different ways. It's in our nature to criticize in different ways, to not approve of someone just because they're different. It's in our nature. Why am I telling you all this? There is something that I've realized about how we view people who are not successful in this world. It's like we don't understand that to succeed in this world, a lot of things have to go your way. A lot of things. And if you succeeded, even though a lot of things didn't go your way, it was luck. Let me give you a simple example of someone who succeeded even though things, didn't seem to be going their way in the beginning. Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou wasn't supposed to win. But you know how he won in life? Dude was gigantic. I mean, he is gigantic. He's big, right? There ain't many people in this world who are as big as him. He's a freak. So he didn't have competition. Even though he didn't grow up training, to become like a UFC fighter, he had the advantages like Brock Lesnar, right? Like he was big. He was naturally big. If an average dude who's like 5'8", 5'9", just looked like everyone else went through what Francis Ngannou went through, probably wouldn't have been successful. So you have to be lucky, like extremely lucky, to succeed if all the odds are stacked against you. To succeed in this world, you gotta meet the right people. To succeed in this world, you've got to be born in a right place. That counts. To succeed in this world, you gotta get help from others. To succeed in this world, you gotta have some people rooting for you. To succeed in this world, you gotta be safe. You gotta be healthy. To succeed in this world, things have to happen right. There are a lot of people who are successful today who think that they could have succeeded no matter what. But you find that there was a huge chance that they didn't succeed. They don't know, like something happened that led to their success, and they don't know what actually happened. They just think that they could have succeeded no matter what, right? Maybe one day you were chilling and someone passed, and you look at them and you just got this idea. Let me start this, and then you build on this and that idea, and then it worked out. If that person didn't pass, maybe you wouldn't have thought of that, and you wouldn't have succeeded. Look at someone like Andrew Tate, someone who believes that they could have succeeded no matter what, right? I find that maybe one day his father was watching a kickboxing match, and he saw it, and he's like, I'm interested, I want to do it. But he found that if he took a different path, he wouldn't have succeeded. Maybe he would have been working a 9 to 5, depressed as fuck, not having the things that he has. It's like winning the lottery in this. Like succeeding is like winning the lottery. So you meet a lot of people who are unsuccessful, and you feel like they could have succeeded. But you find that they wanted to succeed more than you. Maybe they tried harder than you have tried. You are just like things just went your way. You got the right job. You chose the right career. You had the right, like your parents, they supported you in ways that, you needed to be. And even if they don't, because sometimes you can say, I also grew up in a family where I wasn't supported. But what happened, or what was happening in your life at the time? You might grow up, like, for example, Eminem, he wasn't raised right by his mother. But let me ask you a question. Do you think Eminem could have become this big artist if he was treated well by his mother? I'm going to say, yeah, he was a talented rapper. But chances are, he wouldn't have had the right kind of motivation. Like, the right things have to happen. Sometimes bad things can happen, and because they happen, you get these ideas that you've never had before because something bad has happened, and then boom, it leads to your success. There isn't a person in this world who doesn't want to be successful, who doesn't want to be financially independent, have your own thing, have your own place. We suck a lot as society these days that people want to be alone, Like a lot of people, even people who have many friends, like they want to live alone. They don't want to live with people. And like if you're living with your own family, you know how it can be. Like you'll be fighting with your siblings, no one is making money, or some of y'all are making money and you're looking at other family members as a burden. It happens. So it can be very toxic. It can be a very toxic environment. If you are buying everything and there's someone, even if they're your sibling, living with you, at some point you might get tired. And you might start to judge them, not realizing that life is not treating everyone the same. Like, to succeed in this realm, it's really about luck. Like, there are a lot of people that I know who are not making money at all in South Africa, and you see that they have the right kind of motivation. Like, if they got a chance, they wouldn't take that chance for granted. Like, they will make things happen in their lives. Like, it's luck, bro. People have went to different interviews, never got a job. People have suffered a lot that they're actually broken, that they don't even have motivation anymore to look for anything. Like they don't even want to be around people anymore. Like them, like they feel depressed when they're around other people. So they can't even work with other people. Like they feel more miserable when they're working with other people. You can say, oh, they're weak, that this and no, they're not. If you were them, you'll be feeling the way that they're feeling. I remember I watched a video of this guy. He's a Shaolin monk. Those people are very disciplined, but I don't know. I think everything is cope because they will train very hard and become very strong and do things that look impossible. But you're like, for what? But yeah, he was saying that people are weak. Do you think that our ancestors knew what depression was? Like they actually suffered from depression? The truth is, we never know. Like maybe they didn't because they were always busy. They had a lot, but maybe some of them were. But the point that I'm trying to make is we are criticizing people for having enough time to think. It doesn't mean that you're weak if you're depressed. It doesn't mean that you're weak if you're sad. It doesn't mean that you're weak if you don't, you're not feeling good. When you're around other people. It could also mean that you're more intelligent than other people, and it's hard to deal with other people if you are able to notice a lot of things that others do not notice, and that can affect you. You could find that you're a very intelligent person, but you are unable to interact with other people well, and that leads to failure. And other people think you're weird. Like they don't understand your intelligence, so they think you're weird, and they're not treating you the way that they're treating others, and that's discouraging you. So that leads to failure. That leads to depression. Now you don't want to go out. Now you just want to be by yourself all the time. You just want to play video games all the time. We do not live in a society where we actually qualify to call other people lazy. I think people, each and every person in this world, they have something that they can do for free that they are really interested in that other people would not want to do. Like for example, you could have a child who's supposed to be a philosopher or to write books. There are people in this world who think they're very strong, but they wouldn't be able to even write a book. Like, I'm strong, I'm tough because of this, but they're not able, like they don't have the patience to sit down and write the book. Like they'll be depressed if they had to write a book because people are different. So what sucks about our society is that there's way too many people but fewer opportunities. Like we are making many people. So people don't really, like they have to compete for success. That's why more and more people are still living with their parents now. They have to compete because there's many people but then fewer resources. There should be more jobs than there is people. That would make sense. That would be a society that's actually functional. People should be choosing what kind of jobs they want. If a person wants to be an artist, even if they're not the best, but they should be able to make something. But because we have too many people, only the best of the best will win. Do you see the problem? Only the best of the best will win. If you watch old MMA fights, you realize that those guys that used to fight, they were average. You wanna know why? Because not that many people were fighting in MMA. Not many people were, like they were just people who just were interested. So, and people will still watch. But now there's competition because there's too many people practicing MMA. There's too many kids competing at school. I remember when I was still in high school, to get to tertiary, to many universities in South Africa, they only wanted you to get a diploma, and you will be able to get to a university and do what you wanted. But as time went on, because we were producing many kids, they say that you must have a bachelor. Now you don't have to just have a bachelor. Like, there's more. Like, hey, you gotta have a distinction. You gotta have this, and that. Because there's too many people. So of course you can't expect everyone to make it when there's too many people, because there's a lot of things that people deal with. So I've always wondered why, people will like look down on people who are still living with their parents just because they're successful. It's lack of intellectual honesty. Like, you don't understand what led to your success. You think you could have made it no matter what. You're watching my videos now on YouTube. You might think, okay, this channel has like 11,000 subscribers. You might think this could have happened no matter what. No, it wouldn't have happened. If this channel keeps on growing, reach like 100,000 subscribers, it will just like it will be luck. You know what I mean? Yes, I have enough motivation to do this, every day, and that also. That motivation also comes from seeing the support, right? Like, the right things are happening, so there's motivation to, talk about different topics, interact with people, and about certain topics that maybe a lot of people do not even want to talk about. Like, there's motivation to do that. So the channel is growing because of that. A lot of people who became successful boxers in this world are people who were raised by parents who were into boxing, or parents who were boxers. Like this guy, I forgot his name, who just won, and I've seen his videos on TikTok. His dad was a boxer, and he's a legend. He took a video of him when he was a kid, watching a boxing match. He was 10, and he was telling his dad that he wanted to be a boxer, and he ended up becoming a boxer. But how many people have had those kind of opportunities? What if he didn't have a dad who was like a famous boxer? Would he have become successful? This reminds me of this song called 21 Questions by 50 Cent. Like, what I like about 50, and a lot of people think because he came from the project, he's not intelligent. Like, 50 is actually intelligent. But yeah, what I like about him is that he's honest. Like, he's honest with himself. He asked the right question. So in the song 21 Questions, asking his girl questions like, hey, if I didn't smell so good, would you still hug me? If I got locked up, would I rely on you to support me mentally? If I didn't have money, would you be here? If things were like this and that, would you be here? Obviously, if some of the things that he had, he didn't have these things, if he didn't look good, if he didn't smell good, maybe she wouldn't have been with him. So it's the same with life, If some things didn't happen in your life, maybe you would have succeeded, or you wouldn't have succeeded. If you are 5'9", maybe if you were 5'6", you wouldn't have succeeded if you succeeded. If you are 5'6", maybe if you were 5'9", you would have succeeded. You know what I mean? Like small things. Maybe if you had good health, some people, are not healthy. You might not even see that they're not healthy, but they have their own health problems. So they lack motivation. Maybe if they didn't have these health problems, they would have succeeded. Some people were traumatized, they weren't treated right by their parents. Maybe they could have chosen a different path. I remember there was something that I used to be mad about, because I knew what I wanted to do when I passed grade 12. Like, I knew exactly how things were supposed to happen. But I didn't get support from my father. He didn't agree with me. We fought a lot about it, and things ended up not working out the way that I wanted, and I ended up suffering a lot. And I kept on regretting the decision that he made for him. Like, man, he should have listened to me. So sometimes you could have parents who, my dad was supported me in many different ways. It's just that when it comes to that, he didn't really support me, and I wanted him to support me. But it doesn't matter anymore. I still, found myself in a situation where I made some few things work. Some of y'all were going for a job interview, and you met someone and you communicated with them, and because of that, maybe you were thinking about them a lot, and when you were there, you didn't focus. Maybe if you didn't meet them, you would have focused, or maybe you would have gotten there before someone got there, and because that person got there first, and you saw them when they got there, you lost confidence. You felt like they were better than you, and when you went in, you didn't even know what to say when they ask you questions. Like, you don't always perform the same all the time. You look at MMA fighters like Khabib. Khabib retired undefeated, 29-0, which is crazy in MMA. The only other guy that I know who's undefeated is John Jones. He was robbed. I think now he's like 28-0. He fought better competition. But there has been situations where you're like, okay, if this happened in this fight, maybe Khabib would have been defeated. You know what I mean? Like, if things happen this way, if this guy threw a kick at this time, you know what I mean? Like, it was not entirely up to him. Like, there are things that only happen because of faith. Like, it's not entirely up to you. I could eat food that could mess with my mental health and go crazy and end up living in the street. You find that if I didn't eat that kind of food, I would have been fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's not up to you. Like, you could be doing things right and things still go wrong. It's not entirely up to you. Yes, it's good to try your best to perform at your level best. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, even if you feel you don't feel motivated to do things, yes, you can try. Like, hey man, look, I don't have the motivation, but let me be trying something. There's chance, because it also sucks to be living with your parents, but I don't think we should blame people who are still living with their parents. Another thing that we must realize is that people do not ask to be born, right? It's not like people ask to be born. Parents themselves, if they bring a child into this world, they mustn't expect anything from that. Like, it's good to train your child, to teach your child some few things, how to survive, so that they can have something. But if they fail, you can't blame them. Blaming them ain't even gonna make things better. Yeah, I did this for you, I gave you this, I gave you that, look at you now. Like, yeah, some things happen that messed them up. Even if you tried your level best as a parent, there are things that happen that led to that child's failure. It sucks, if you are in your 30s and you're still living with your parents, because the relatives, the way that your parents will look at you the way that your friends will look at you. Like there's a lot that you go through and you find that you ain't able to afford the things that you want, right? So you see the people that you grew up with succeeding, getting the things that they want. One of your high school friends, now they have a car, they have a house, they seem to be living life. And you look at yourself like, yo, what went wrong? Because I did try. And your parents be talking to you like you're nothing, like they regret having you. And yeah, because we were having people here without our consent, that's understandable, but they shouldn't regret having you because it's you. You know what I mean? Like if things worked out for you, then they wouldn't regret. And when people have children, they must keep in mind that anything can happen. You don't know what kind of child you're creating. You don't know if the world is going to accept that child. You don't know if that child is going to accept the world, if they will want to obey and play by the rules, and do everything that they're being told they must do. You don't know if that kid will be able to do that. Like even if they want to play by the rules, you don't know if they will be able to play by the rules. So of course, they can succeed or not succeed. But does it mean that you must blame them every day? You must hate them for not even being able to succeed. Life is difficult, man. Life is really difficult. Even if you are succeeding, even if you are winning, life is still very difficult. Like in a world like this, you don't just make it. There's the element of luck involved. You don't just make it. There's an element of luck involved. Things have to happen the right way. It's more like the lottery. Yes, you have a better chance of winning the lottery if you really want to win, right? You decide every day that, you know what, every time I get some money, I'm going to try to win. I'm going to try to win $20 million. I'm going to be trying. Every time I get money, I'm not going to be having fun. I'm not going to be buying alcohol. I'm not going to be buying unnecessary things. I'm just going to be trying to win. You find that you started doing that when you were young. Yeah, chances are you will win one day. But there might be someone out there who's never tried to try hard. Maybe they've only been trying for like a year and boom, they win. You've been trying for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. That's how unfair life can be. So we have to know that it also boils down to luck. There's a reason why people are religious, bro. There's a reason why people thank God. Like someone like Habib, for example, when he wins a fight, he'll be like, Isha Allah, right? Alhamdulillah, Isha Allah and all that. Yeah, they're thanking God because they also do understand that there's the element of luck involved. Like, yeah, I've worked hard, I've trained, but anything could have happened. I'm tough, but anything could have happened. It's a fight. Someone can throw a perfect punch. Conor McGregor could have thrown a perfect punch and knocked me out. And how would I feel? Maybe he would have lost motivation to fight if he lost to Conor McGregor. I mean, if there's a guy that Khabib wanted to beat in the UFC, was Conor McGregor. They didn't like each other. So, yeah, things do happen in this realm. We are where we are because of the decisions that we made, but also because of decisions that other people make. You cannot just say that it's all about what the decisions that I make, because we like to blame people. Like, yeah, you are where you are because of decisions. Like, oh, someone rejected me, right? I went for that job interview, I qualified, someone rejected me. I went to that audition, I qualified, someone rejected me. I needed this, I needed that, someone rejected me. Things could have gone this way, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't entirely depend on me. And even if I wasn't rejected, still, it also has to do with fate, how far I go. Because we don't know what we're doing. Like, we always expect for the best results, but we don't know how to get the best results. You see? Because your success relies on a lot of things. Yes, if you are working out, you're going to the gym and you want good results, yeah, it relies on you, like it mostly relies on you. So you kind of have control. I mean, maybe, but it doesn't always, like it doesn't entirely rely on you. You can develop some health issues and you find that you're not building muscle, you're not growing big, you know what I mean? Because of, but that mostly rely on you. But there are things that don't, like you have some control, but not all the control. Like most of it relies on others and fate. Even when it comes to something as simple as a relationship, you know, there could be a person that you want, but you find that you fail to make them love you. We're talking about one person here. So when it comes to the world itself, you know, there's many people in the world making their own decisions. Can you imagine things going your way if everyone is trying to make things go their way in this scarcity in this world? That how hard it will be. So of course there will be some people who will fail, not because, you know, they are weaker. No, not because others are better than them. No. There are a lot of people who are very successful that you are 10 times better than. All right? It's just luck. They became successful by luck, for real. You find that, yeah, the chances of them succeeding were few, but luck, because they are alive, right? You know, think about it. The chick, the Catch Me Outside kid. She went to Dr. Phil because, you know, her and her mother were not getting along. And she said this phrase that got her famous, started making millions. It's like, catch me outside, how about that? That's it, she's famous. Now she's a brand because of that. You know what I mean? That's luck, like she wasn't supposed. So there are people who are very successful, not because they tried harder than everyone else, they were just lucky. And there are people who ain't successful even though they tried harder than everyone else. I'm talking about the most deserving people. Like you see that this person really deserves to be successful because of how good they were and how hard they were working. They still fucking failed. You look at one of my favorite movies is Kung Fu Panda. That's one of the best movies, and it's very underrated. I mean, I don't people know it, but I'm saying it's underrated because I think people should love that movie and watch that movie more. Okay, so there's this guy, his name is Tai Long. He's being trained by his master, Master Shifu. Since he was young, or being trained by his master, he listened to his master like 100%. He did whatever his master asked him to do. His master promised him that he was going to become what they call the Dragon Warrior. They were going to give him this scroll after he trained so hard and became very powerful. They were going to give him. But Shifu's master, Master Igwe, didn't want Tai Long to become the Dragon Warrior. After all these years of working, trying to be the best Kung Fu master in the world, he was rich. Like, that's what mattered to him. Like, he worked so it's the same as if a guy is investing a lot on a woman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this woman, since she was in high school, she didn't have parents who took care of her. He had a job. He was working as a security guard. He's earning like between 5,000 and 8,000 a month. He's giving her maybe 2.5 a month, you know, paying her tuition fees, making sure that she's okay. And then when she graduates and get a job, she dumps him. How is he supposed to feel? You know what I mean? That's why they say villains are not born, they're made. So yeah, that's the same thing with him. He tried he deserved in every way to become the Dragon Warrior. But Master Igwe chose a panda. That panda liked Kung Fu, but he wasn't good at it at all. He would just cook noodles with his father. He wanted to be dragon warrior the same way that Talon wanted to be the dragon warrior, but Talon worked to become the dragon warrior. That panda didn't work at all to become the dragon warrior. But somehow, Master Ego chose him. That's life, bruh. So damn unpredictable. And you're going to stand and blame those who didn't succeed in life because you were lucky? That's lack of intellectual honesty. People are dealing with different issues in their lives. You know, when I look at my own life and look at the challenges that I deal with, I'm like, some of these challenges, you know, prevent me from becoming, you know what I mean, like I'm working hard on becoming the best version of myself. But, you know, when you're looking at these issues from the outside, you're like, but that's not a big deal. But I find that it's the smallest things that actually make the big difference. Maybe if that one person supported me, that one person, maybe if they told me I'm good enough, maybe that would have worked. Maybe they would have done the magic, you know? So it's the smallest things that we don't see that are happening in people's lives that determine whether they succeed or not. It's not entirely up to the person themselves. I know people who have worked really, 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 really hard, who never amounted to anything. You meet that person in the street at home and you're like, but how? How did they fail? And you find that they're still trying. You know what I mean? You find that they still have, you know, they still have hope. They're trying. Or maybe they don't have hope anymore. You know, but they're trying. The game of life is far from easy. So judging people just because they're living with their parents is actually stupid. Some of them might not even be doing anything with their lives anymore. They've given up. You might say, you've given up, you know, if only you find that they are, like they've been through so much that they don't know how to become themselves again. It's good that if life hits you hard, you keep on standing up. But some people have been hurt so hard that even though we don't see that, it's true. And maybe if we want to help people that we think are not doing anything in this world, maybe we need to offer them love. Maybe we need to try to understand them. What has hurt you? What's keeping you stuck? What do you need right now to make things better for yourself? How can someone truly help? How do you know human beings don't give a shit about one another? If you're left behind, you're left behind. This reminds me of this clip that I saw on TikTok. They were comparing women's sportsmanship and men's sportsmanship. So they showed women playing in a soccer field, playing, and then, you know, they showed different clips actually. You find that the woman gets injured and then they continue to score. Like maybe she's standing and then she faints and then the person takes a ball and score or something. And then they showed men's sportsmanship. You find that if a man gets injured while they're playing, then they pick, but it's not very accurate. I mean, they just took, but women are more mean than men. Trust me. Like women are more mean than men. But it's but what I'm trying to show is that human beings can be like that. They can be like what was shown in that video. That people can watch you fall and not give a shit. You know, even if they can help, they could watch your life falling apart and not give a shit at all. They just continue to play and keep on winning, enjoying their lives, look at you, think about you, laugh about you, tell their kids about you. Doesn't that suck? Find that someone had potential when they were young, but they failed. Then the people who didn't even have like potential, they actually make it, and then they talk about that person. Tell their kids, hey, that one, that one used to dress so nice when we were in high school. He used to get awards for this and that. Look at him now, and then laugh. Yeah, human beings are like that. I remember this other clip that I saw on TikTok. There was this guy who played for a very big team here in South Africa. He ended up losing everything. This happened a lot with South African soccer ball stars. So now he was playing in his Scarcity, like in his township. And someone was taking a video of him and telling him shit. You could see that there's no sympathy, nothing. And the guy just looked at him, and I felt for that guy, bro. I was like, damn. The guy doesn't even respond. Like, that's painful, like what happened to him. You don't know what led to that. Maybe there's something that gave him depression and he ended up losing his shit, and that's how he ended. Or maybe, because the game is moving on, right? So we find that he's not able to keep up, so they didn't resign him, and he ended up playing in his Scarcity again. That happens. You find that he did have the motivation. The game is moving forward. The game is evolving. That's why the MMA fighters, the reason why I keep on giving you example about MMA fighters, because I'm a big, I watch MMA fights a lot. Like, there are guys that in the beginning they had potential, but you find that the guy was like 12-0, and then when he started losing, he kept on losing. And there's this guy, why do I forget his name, who fought John Jones, almost beat him. In fact, some people believe that he beat John Jones. Ryan, what is his name, man? Damn, I forgot this guy's name. But that fight was so competitive that some people feel like he beat John Jones. I'm talking about a guy that I told you about earlier, who's undefeated, who fought better fighters than Khabib. But after that fight, after fighting John Jones, he kept on losing, kept on getting knocked out. It happens. He had a lot of potential. He was much younger than John Jones. But the game keeps on evolving. Maybe he was given opponents and stylistically, they didn't match up very well. He had a disadvantage, right? He could have fought fighters that he could beat stylistically. And through winning, you find that he's gaining a lot of motivation and he's training more, and he's there's a lot of people who want to work with him, so he keeps on getting better. But it didn't happen like that. There's this guy, his name is Michael Chandler. He used to fight at Bellator. Signed to the UFC, fought a couple of guys, won a couple of fights, but there's been, like, he's got so close to winning the UFC champion belt, but you find that something weird happens. Like, he's about to knock the guy out, maybe the bell rings, and then now the guy comes back and beat him. But Chandler is always been in those kind of situations where he will get close to actually winning, and you're like, damn, he's gonna win. Wow, he's gonna win, and then something weird happens and he end up not winning. It's how it is in this realm. So don't assume that people who are not successful because they are not trying. They're not successful because they just didn't want to be successful. They were lazy. Growing up, there were a lot of kids who weren't serious. The teachers would say, that kid will never amount to anything, and they became very successful. In high school, there have been kids that you look at them, you're like, they'll never amount to anything, and they became successful. And there were kids that you looked at and be like, these kids are going to be successful. The kids are going places, and they never succeeded. They're at home. They're still very disciplined. They're still trying, but they are broken, they are depressed, they don't have the motivation that they had anymore because of how life treated them, and you blame them. In the movie Rocky, I think Rocky said he was telling this other kid who wanted to be like him, like, there's nothing that's gonna hit you harder than life. And it's true. This is not an easy game that we're playing. There are a lot of moving parts involved in this realm that lead people to success or failure. And that explains why people pray, because they believe that there's some mysterious force that's at work. Like, yeah, maybe if I pray, maybe if I drink the blood of Jesus, you know. It's funny that people think that that's cool. Like, it makes sense that they're drinking someone's blood, but hey, yeah, if you drink the blood of Jesus every month, not even drinking the blood of Jesus. But yeah, you know, some mysterious force is going to help you become what you want to become, because that's it. That's the reason, really. If I pray, if I fast for, you know, some people believe in their ancestors. Some people believe in aliens. But yeah, people know that it's not entirely up to you. They know that anything can happen. I could wake up tomorrow as a millionaire and not even know how did it happen. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't even trying to be a millionaire. What happened? I'm a millionaire now. I can wake up tomorrow and be a fucking millionaire. Things can happen that way. For real. I can wake up tomorrow in prison. Things happen in this realm. Like, I'm not in prison because I was lucky enough to not end up in prison. Even though, yes, I am, every decision that I'm making, I am trying my best to not make a decision that's going to land me in prison, but things do happen. You know, sometimes you could find something out that makes you go crazy in that instant, because people can go crazy. That's why I don't like to blame people. Like, you could find yourself in a situation where you truly go crazy, for real, because maybe you discovered something that truly shocked you. You have 5 kids, you discover that all these kids are not yours. And your wife is not showing any remorse. And she's still cheating on you even now. And she's telling you shit to your face. And you are drunk. And you have a gun. You know what I'm saying? Things happen. You didn't work. This reminds me of Kevin Hart. You know, on this other clip where he was making fun of Will Smith. It's very funny. You should search for it. So he was like, yeah, sometimes you can have a moment of madness. Just look at Will Smith. It's not like he planned that. He didn't wake up in the morning and be like, yeah, take my wife's name off your fucking mouth. You know, he's like, no, he didn't plan that. It just happened. Crazy just happened. You could be the sanest person on earth, and then you experience something that makes you crazy. And you do something crazy because you have experienced something that makes you crazy. It's not because you're crazy. It's not because you were trying to be crazy. But the point that I'm trying to make is that in this realm that we found ourselves in, if we're successful, it doesn't always mean that we would have succeeded, no matter what. What are those birds called? Let's check the topics that people wanted me to talk about. I said, if you want me to talk about a specific topic, just write a comment telling me what you want me to talk about. And I will talk about it. Someone said, the moment when I turned 20, I was already tired. I mean, I barely go out of childhood. This world just drains me. When I turned 13, I stopped liking this place. Like when I went to... Well, someone said I must talk about Deja. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. But yeah, it's hard to keep on loving this place as you get older. And as you get older, that's when you experience moments of deja vu, where you experience something that you feel like you've experienced before. It's weird. You find yourself in places that you've never been before. But you feel like you've been there before. I think that proves that this is not really our first time alive. You know, we dream about places that we've seen. So what if we have seen these places that when we're in these places, we experience moments of deja vu in other realities? Or maybe we've been there before, we just forgot. Or maybe we have experienced something similar to what we call deja vu, and it felt like we were experiencing deja vu while we were experiencing something that's similar to what we've experienced before. But I've had a lot of moments of deja vu in my life that made me go like, nah, man. This might have happened in another reality. Because you don't just find yourself in a place that you've never been in, like, and then you experience deja vu. Like, for example, you go to Cape Town and you've never been to Cape Town. I mean, you'd know if you've never been to Cape Town. I've never been to Cape Town, so I know I've never been to Cape Town. So let's say I go to Cape Town. I've never been to Cape Town. And then something starts happening and I'm like, but I've experienced this before and I've never been to Cape Town. You kind of like able to even predict what's going to happen next, and you're like, damn. Sometimes you don't predict what's going to happen next, but when it happens, you're like, this happened before. I've played this game before. Like, no, but this happened before, for real. And you tell people, and isn't it weird that when you tell people that you've had a deja vu moment, no one really takes you seriously? Like, it's just you just saying whatever. So you tell other people and they don't take you seriously. You end up not taking what you experience seriously because no one takes it seriously. But I do believe that each and every person who's lived has had a deja vu moment. Because I even asked a person about if they've never had a deja vu moment, and they said, "Nah, I've never had a deja vu moment." So I think that's fascinating. Maybe we're not supposed to have deja vu moments, but that's why it doesn't happen all the time. But I experience deja vu moments. Like sometimes when I experience deja vu moments, it's not that deep, right? It's just something that happens for like a second, and I'm like, yeah, I can't experience this, but I forget quickly. So I don't even take it seriously. But I've had deja vu moments where I'm experiencing something and I'm like, dude, this I have experienced. I remember when I started working in this other school. I have not been to that village. I knew the village, but I've never really been there before. I remember when we went there for an interview, I was like, I've been here before. I feel the way that I felt when I got here, like when I my first day here. Like I've been here before, like I remember this. I know schools look the same, so like especially South African schools, but still this place, now I've been here before. I have met these people before. Like this feels real. And I will keep on having deja vu moments in that school. I even thought that I was gonna die teaching at that school. I was like, maybe these are my final days, because what's going on here? Why do I keep on having deja vu moments? There's always too many cars. Yeah. Always. So a person has to always be extra careful as they cross here. Or maybe life recreates itself. This reminds me of the first scene from the last Matrix movie, where this lady experienced what Trinity experienced. Like the same story was being recreated. Neo, when he was fighting with some people, like, you will kind of start to remember some things. So maybe deja vu moments are just glitches in the Matrix. Maybe there's something more to it. But it is crazy that we have this kind of experiences and we can't really explain these experiences. It's easy to remember if you've been to a place before or if you've experienced something before. It's like if someone tries to remind you of something that you have not remembered in years. When they remind you, it's easy to remember. You know, even if it's something that you have not remembered. You know, you could be trying to think of a word that you knew, but you don't remember that word, but you know that you knew this word. And then someone reminds you and you're like, oh shit, I wonder why I didn't remember. So that's kind of like how it feels like to experience deja vu. It's like Maybe you've been here before many times, but you don't remember, and something that has happened that mattered, I guess, reminded you of that experience. It's a crazy reality that we've found ourselves in. If you've watched this video until the end, like the video, subscribe, comment. Thank you all, guys.